Hello, everyone, and welcome to this, I don't want to say special, but quite late/delayed episode of the 107 podcast with myself, Jacob, and my co-host, Ash. F1 has taken a bit of a winter break, and so have we. We have been busy with family and eating Christmas dinners and all that fun stuff. But we're back. We're ready to hit the ground running for 2025. Life gets in the way. We need a little bit of a break, but we are hoping to hit the ground running at the start of this year, and we're both really looking forward to the new season, right?
Yes. It's funny because, even on social media, all the drivers have had a break as well.
Everyone seems to have had a break. I think
no
post.
We needed it. It was a long season, and I'm still glad we're still in the break in a way.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. It's not like we've left for the last episode was in December or something, I want to say. It's not like March and we're posting in. It's 55 as of right now, as of recording. It's 55 days until lights out in Bahrain.
It's one Carlos Sainz.
One Carlos Sainz to the time we are lights out, but it is. I'm double checking now. The last time we published was December 14th.
Wow.
So it's been a month. It's been a month.
We've had a summer break in winter.
We have. We've had a cheeky little break. But yeah, we are back. But
needed break.
I messaged you earlier on WhatsApp. I was like, "Hello, I have a new idea to start off the podcasts. We do a little intro. Essentially, it's a good excuse for me to make a dad joke, or a pun. But I would like to kick off whether or not." For this week, for right now, are we in pole position? Are we feeling good about F1? Or are we DNFing or even DNSing? Are we not bothered about F1 at the moment? Are we not even started? We're really not that bothered. Or are we in pole position? Are we feeling it this week? How are we feeling?
I'm DNF.
You're DNF. You're really not in the F1 spirit this week. Just there's not really going on or whatever.
It's not that there's a lot going on. I was talking to someone about this earlier. But when you're really anticipated for something, it takes ages for it to get here. So if I was really excited, I'm like, oh my god, 55 days, that's so long. But because we had a long season, there was so much going on. There's drama from start to finish,
especially at the beginning.
Yeah, it's nice not to hear about crazy driver moves and WhatsApp messages. And is Sergio Perez going to lose his drive? And is Max Verstappen leaving? It's just it's just nothing, right? It's just literal nothing. And it's good because then when it starts to ramp up, I'll be more excited about it rather than being stuck in an F1 24/7
sure
world.
I actually forgot. Have we spoken about Perez? I don't think we have, so maybe we do have a couple of bits to actually catch up on.
We got Perez, we got
Colapinto, yeah. We've got some bits to cover. I might even split this recording session. I might even split it into two. I genuinely don't know.
Do you wanna do something different for the new year as well in terms of intro? Do you want to tell people where they could find us?
Yes. If you're listening to this right now, we've been recording now for 3 minutes 46. I genuinely think this might be the earliest I've ever done this. Please, for the love of God, go into your preferred podcast platform and give us a follow. Chuck a cheeky little follow in. Let us, if you're on YouTube, comment and tell me how badly I need to shave my face. Do whatever it is you need to do. Come and interact with us. Come and follow us on Instagram as well. We are at the 107 pod on Instagram. Does somebody still have the at 107 podcast account? Because I'm pretty sure there's a reason why we couldn't get that username on Instagram. I might look into that and see if I can, use some of my connections to get that at.
Just steal it from someone.
I genuinely, that's what some people do. They put in a business case. They say who they are, their brand, everything, and they get the at username handed over to them. But please do go in, follow us, interact with us, come and say hello. Chuck us your absolute hot take on anything to do with F1, whatever it is. Come and say hi. Just come and have a cheeky little chin wag with us.
At least you've done it. And
exactly.
We are we're not in America, so we are on TikTok.
We are also on TikTok. If you're in the US of A, you may have to wait until it's reopened or whatever. We aren't on Red Note, I'm afraid. Maybe we will have to say, oh god, this might sound hot. We might have to say ni hao to Red Note. Ni hao is hello in Chinese, right? Is that right? Or am I just completely ignorant? Have I just made up a word?
No, ni hao is definitely something Chinese.
I'm 99% sure it's hello. 99%. Can we double check I haven't accidentally completely put my foot in it?
Ni hao ma. How are you?
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't too far off. I was told that was hello, so I do apologize for being an idiot.
It also says it is hello.
Maybe it's just like a general, like, casual greeting, like hello, mate, how are you?
Hello in Chinese is ni hao.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm not completely ignorant. Okay.
How are you is ni hao ma.
Okay. Maybe that's anyway.
That's what I did. But you were right.
Right. So you're DNF. Are you going to go with DNS? Because you're not really feeling it.
DNS,
yeah. I'm going to go DNS as well. Actually, no. I'm going to go poll. I'm feeling pretty positive at the moment, actually.
About what?
For a couple of reasons. I'm looking forward to the new season. It's 55 days away, as we mentioned. But I've been thinking about some content and bits and pieces we can do leading up to it. And I've just remembered where I've been and what I've done and who I've met. So I'm in a pretty good, pretty positive place currently with F1. I'm going to go pole position. That's where I'm at. I'm going to go that. Should I maybe kick off with why?
Yeah,
go ahead and explain why. So
I think that's probably, it makes sense. Why?
Exactly, yeah. You know why, but the listeners are just about to find out. So recently, last weekend, I was at Autosport International in the NEC in Birmingham. First time I've ever been. Ash was invited. He told me, direct quote, I don't go to fucking Birmingham. Allegedly. No, he did not say that. He was invited. I think he was busy or whatever it was, but it was just me. I was wearing my 107 podcast t-shirt, even though I never bloody took it off. Took my Aston Martin jacket off, sorry, so that was completely pointless branding. But I had a great time. Genuinely. Really enjoyed it. I think there were 3 key things, and then maybe 1 or 2 things where I was like, oh, that's not great.
I'd love to hear. I know what the 3 key things are, but I'd love to hear what's not.
So, we're getting to that point now where I may or may not end up becoming Bezzy mates with Crofty. It's the second time I've met him. But so kicking off Autosport, I was there at the opening. I saw Ollie Bearman was there. He was opening the show, and he was doing one of the first talks during the day. And so I was like, I want to hear from Bearman. Let's go and stand near the front of the stage where all the talks were happening. And I was not first. There was one person at the barrier in front of me, and then me, which kind of worked out quite well because I'm quite tall as well. So I probably would have blocked people's view with my massive fucking head. But then Crofty came out and he did a 30-minute talk about 2024 in review, right? Sort of the podcast episode, which we still haven't recorded, but we will do in the future. And he asked a couple of questions and stuff like that. He talked about Max, he talked about McLaren, he talked about a lot of things. And one of the questions he posed, he was like a poll, hands up, hands down. One of those was in a direct... There was a little bit of context, and I even have the clip, thanks to somebody else who was there. There was a little bit of context to this question, which was or my answer at least had some context, if it is a direct title fight between Lando and Piastri in 2025, who do you think would win that, Lando or Oscar? And probably about 95 of the people there put their hand up for Lando, right? I was one of maybe 4-5 people who said Oscar. Bit brave, bit of a hot take, But we will revisit this at the end of the 2025 season when Oscar Piastri is world champion. And I'll be sat there with the biggest shit-eating grin on my face. But that's if it's a direct title fight. I think if McLaren are, second, third fastest car, I don't really know. We'll see. But that was the context. And Crofty picked me out of the crowd because of my big, massive fucking head. Crofty picked me out of the crowd and asked me why I thought Oscar would beat Lando. And I essentially said that I think there'll be a turning point. You look at Piastri's junior career and Lando's junior career and their careers so far, and I think based just on the results alone, you can clearly see that Oscar has been successful in every single championship that he's participated in. He's been at the front every single time, right? Lando has also been at the front for the majority of the time. And I say majority because, his first couple of years at F1 weren't that, right? I didn't say this all to Crofty, but I said there will be a turning point where Oscar realizes, or he finds that spark that will enable him to be a better driver than Lando. It could be this season. It's his third season in F1 now. He's got that first win out of the way. He's got that first legitimate win out of the way because we all know what happened in Budapest. Not saying it wasn't a legitimate win, but there was some controversy there. And that was my point. Like, I think there will be a turning point, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see. Wouldn't you agree, Ash? Like it's going to be interesting to see as and when and if that turning point even turns up, right?
Yes.
So I sort of said that, and the grin that Crofty gave me, as if he almost agreed, was quite interesting. And then he said he went on to say that, and that's a very interesting point that a lot of you are missing, is that Oscar is a very talented driver who is progressing further and further and even more and more. And that's not to say that Lando couldn't progress even further, obviously. But I do genuinely think it would be very interesting this year between the two of them. But it was very cool to chat to Crofty again. Second time I chatted to him. First time was at the British Grand Prix in 2023. Very briefly, I just said hello and thank you for, doing what you do, because he entertains millions of people around the world. But I think one thing that I'm a bit like, is that one of the questions he just asked for generic sort of questions. One of the things that somebody asked him to do was asked him to say it's lights out and away we go, and I'm like, guys, I get it, but it was a bit cringe.
Yeah,
it's just a little bit cringe. I get it, but bit cringe.
Yeah, you got a guy there who's got an inside look into Formula One. So your question, which could be anything, and it's like, can you say this thing that you say 22 times? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, he said it, people applauded, people were like, yeah, and I was just sat there going, oh, that was a bit awkward, but sure, okay. I get it. Like I said, I get it, but
yeah.
It's like it's like meeting Kimi Räikkönen and not hearing him go, bruh. It's a bit of a shame if he doesn't. But yeah, it was good to hear that chat. And then there was also a chat with Behrman afterwards as well, that he did all on stage. Crofty, he did also ask, does anyone not watch F1 on Sky F1? And there were about 3 of us that actually raised our hands, me included, because obviously I'm an F1 TV lad. And he literally looked at me and he went, I would have asked you, but I've already spoken to you, and then went and asked a different question to other people. But I would have told him where it's at. It's not on Sky Sports. Sorry, lads. It's just not. Even though we are losing James Hinchcliffe this year, by the looks of things, which is a real shame.
And you're losing Will Buxton.
Yeah, well, I'm not bothered about it because he doesn't do the actual commentary. But yeah, you're right. It's a bit of a shame to lose him. But I do actually have the clip as well of my answer. Not the question, but I do have the clip of most of my answer. And it was so fucking cool to finally meet the man, the myth, the legend, Coffee Corner Motorsport, aka F1 Coffee Corner, aka Big Man Terry.
Did you get a coffee together?
We did have a coffee together. It was disgusting because it was salted caramel, and it didn't say salted caramel on the. Yeah, I know it was rank. It didn't say salted caramel on the thing, so it just said caramel. So I was like, perfect. I'll have a caramel latte. Brilliant. Horrible. But I did have a coffee with Coffee Corner Motorsport. We had a great chat. It was lovely to meet him. I stupidly though realized as I was leaving at the end of the day. I didn't get a photo with him, but I have a photo of him taking a photo of a Subaru. So I'd argue that's almost exactly as good as the real thing. But yeah, actually met him. He's brilliant. He's really, really nice. Yeah, it was just very, very cool after almost 2 years of recording podcasts and messaging him back and forth. And, he was one of the first guests we had on. To actually meet him was properly, genuinely really, really cool. So yeah, it was a bit of a shame that you weren't there because that would have been fun, the three of us being there. That would have been really, really cool. But I hung out with him for like the morning. Like we were chatting, we had coffee for like an hour and a half, ish. It was great. No, really, really good to actually meet him. Really cool.
Hey, shout out to Terry.
Shout out Terry. If you don't know who Coffee Corner Motorsport is, what rock have you been living under? Go and check him out on TikTok if you still have access to it, and or Instagram as well. If you love F1 news, boy, are you about to fall in love with Terry. As I did on our coffee date. But yeah, it was really, really nice to see him. And I'm looking forward to meeting him again whenever that is. We need to chat to him as well about Vegas, don't we? We need to get him on and chat about how his trip went and just general sort of chit-chat catch-up, don't we?
Just always good to have a catch-up.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we should invite him on over the next week or two. That would be maybe after your work dies down a little bit. I think that'd be a nice thing to do.
So
like
you met Crofty, you saw Ollie Behrman, and you met the biggest guest of all.
Oh yeah, the biggest guest I've ever had.
3 positive things. What was the 2 downsides?
Oh no, that was so. The third positive was meeting Behrman.
Okay, yeah, that's what I said. Behrman.
Yeah, so but I didn't really explain that I met him. Okay. There was a signing session, and there was the queue for it was getting huge, by the way. He was only due to be there for an hour. And I joined the end of the queue. This was maybe just 45, 50 minutes before he's supposed to start signing. And a security guard comes over to us and he goes, sorry, lads, he's only going to meet 150 people, so you're probably not going to see him. And I was like, what? Was that it? Like only 150 people. Like he was one of the main reasons why people were going. I think for quite a few people was to meet him, get a signature or whatever. Only 150 people. That's fucking bullshit. I'll be annoyed if I don't see him. And so luckily he came out 20 minutes early. I think because he was told probably there's a lot of people there. You might want to hurry things up. But yeah. So I actually met him. I do have. If you bear with me for just a second, I do have his signature, which is very, very cool, on a little driver card type thing, which is nice. Slightly disappointing though. I genuinely, and I have a bone to pick with the security team that he had, because I was told he won't be signing anything other than merch or the driver cards that they were giving out for free, right? So I had this made up, which is a print of Behrman that I took. I took this photo in the wet at Silverstone 2 years ago, right? And I was like, I'll get him to sign that. It'd be perfect. And then 2 seconds before, I was going to frame it and everything. 2 seconds before they're like your next one to go up or whatever, security guard looks at me and he goes, sorry, he's only signing merch or the little card that you've got. And I was like, what? That's a shame, but fine. It'd be nice to meet him. So I met him. I said hello. I wished him the best of luck for the season. Have a driver card signed, whatever. The girl behind me had her hat signed and something else, and I'm like, what the fuck? I played by the rules, and nobody else did. And I saw people on social sharing. I was like, he signed my jumper, and it wasn't. It was a Haas jumper, and I'm like, what the fuck?
You need to Max Verstappen it.
I should have just said,
flexible with the rules.
hey,
Max Verstappen.
here's the print. I took this photo of you. Can you please sign it? I had it unscrolled, ready to go.
Technically, it is merch. It's just your merch.
Yeah, it kind of was, yeah. But and also, like, I was planning on buying the merch, like, in the queue to then get, like, some people, or, like, whenever I've worked and I've done signing events before, on the other side of it, organising it, you buy the thing and then you take it to another table and then you get it signed by the person. That's how it works. You don't just rock up with nothing. So I was surprised that that's how they did it as well. That was a bit odd. But anyway, I still got to meet him. That was very fun. And I have an exclusive for you. I bumped into his manager, Enzo. Not his manager. I think I don't know if he's his manager, like manager, but he's one of his team, let's say. I don't know his actual role, who I reached out to a couple of months ago. And I walked past and we sort of double took it again, like at each other. Like we saw each other, glanced, went, yeah, and then went back and went, well, hold on a minute. Why do I recognize you? I didn't realize who it was for like a split second, and that's why I did a double take. But it was Enzo, and we chatted for like 5 minutes, and he was really, really nice. And if he is true to his word, he said he'll come on the pod. So yeah, genuinely, he said to me, I was like, oh, I think we're connected on LinkedIn. So I messaged him and I was like, would you be interested in talking about, because he talks a lot of his social content is around like the mental game. How can you mentally prepare for stuff? That side of things, which is really interesting to me. And I think is pretty interesting to you as well, Ash. Is that right?
Very interesting, yes.
So I was like, come on the pod, talk about how I think at the time, like how he prepared for, you know, that last minute jump into the car where Carlos had to disappear or whatever. I was like, you know, it'd be really interesting to see how he's doing that, how he's preparing for the 25 season. It'd be really good to hear from you. And then he just never got back to me. But he was like, I remember it vaguely. So maybe he just forgot to respond. Like, you know, he read the message as he was going into Sainsbury's and he just put his phone away while he was actually shopping and forgot or what. I don't know. But I need to reach out again and see if he'll come on. But he was so lovely. Yeah, it was a pleasure to meet him as well. So yeah, very cool.
Nice.
Very, very cool. Negative. The one, like, other than the thing that I wanted signed did not get signed, which was genuinely pissed me off a little bit. But then again, I still met him, and it is what it is type thing, you know. It's why you shouldn't always play by the rules, because I don't think he was told only sign merch, because clearly Buddy wasn't. But by the way, the hat that was signed was a fake hat as well, so not even a real hat. Okay, it was a fake Ferrari hat. The one thing that annoyed me was that so when I was buying a ticket, there was a live show, a live arena at Autosport. Brilliant. Sure, I'd love to go to that. There was drifting and motorbikes, blah, 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 blah. Really, really cool. But it was at 1 o'clock that I had my ticket. And then after I bought my ticket, they announced that the signing session was at 1:30. Meaning, essentially, I either had to pick between the live show and meeting Bearman. And Bearman was one of the main reasons why I wanted to go. So I binned off the live show, which I didn't even know was happening, by the way. It wasn't that, like, you know. But that was the one disappointment. I couldn't move it. I couldn't whatever, because the full day's stuff wasn't fully lined up or whatever. So that was one of the downsides. Yeah, that was about it. But I was told as well, or apparently Autosport used to be like double, triple the size it was. It used to be like 3 halls big or like 5 or whatever, and it was only 2 this time. And people were saying like, oh, it's really disappointing and like, you know, a bit of a downfall or whatever. But like, I enjoyed it. If you're looking at going at all to Autosport, I would recommend it. It was a fun 25-30 quid thing. The train travel wasn't too bad. I enjoyed it. It was a good time. I'd recommend it, especially if you get to meet Terry.
That was at the Terry Festival.
Terry Fest. No, was there any? I said to him,
"Is there any cool stands?"
Yeah, there were a couple of cool stands actually. But I said to Terry, he could easily do a meet and greet. Like genuinely, like he could do a meet and greet or whatever. There were some cool stands. I will load up my photos real quick because I did take a lot of photos of some of the cool cars, right? So they had stands where like, so, and I do have, I'm not going to edit this, but it would be not like genuinely, I'm going to be a bit lazy. I would flash up some of the photos that I took, but like I took some photos of like the stage and I saw Bearman's Behrman's car for it was his driver number on last year's car. We know the car's not going to be exactly the same, but it was still cool to see that number on the car. They had like an exhibit of, you know what, I'll flash it up like quickly, but on my phone. They had a guy called Formula Art doing like a live painting thing of Behrman and a Haas, which is very, very cool. The camera quality is awful. But like there were loads of artists and stuff who were selling their bits and pieces of work. I even found, genuinely, this has nothing to do with F1, I found a model of my car. Which I've never ever found, an accurate 07 Impreza model. I've never ever seen one in the flesh. £8 sold. Sold. I also bought a mini Kevin Magnussen helmet for £30. Okay, yeah, of course I did. So I spent a little bit of cash. There were some little shops and stuff like that you could go and visit. I also, of course, took pictures of multiple Subarus. But they had loads of different stands. So I think the Subaru one was like Chevron Motorsport, which I think are like a racing team or something. They also had the like Miltech as well, which is like exhausts for performance cars and stuff. So they had a really cool GR Yaris as well, which was cool to see. And then they had some other bits and pieces, like other stands that had like drifting carts, and they had like specific part manufacturers and racing teams and shops and, like I said, bits and pieces. So but it was very, very cool, very varied. And like I said, I thought it was great. Like I had no issues with it whatsoever. If you wanted to buy a t-shirt with a Datsun on it, you could. Like there was so much variety. It wasn't just Formula One, it wasn't just rally, it was everything. They had talks with like British touring car champions and stuff as well. Like it was great. Genuinely, I'd recommend it. They also, the last thing I'll mention before we move on to some F1. Actually, there's two things. One, my funeral genuinely is going to be fucking lit because they had a Subaru Impreza funeral car.
I saw that, yeah.
Honestly, I was shocked to see, but sold.
£8?
I don't know. I could. Do you know what? I might Google it at some point and see how much it would cost. Even though they're just gonna have to bury me in mine. But that was one of the cool things. But the last thing I'll mention, maybe not cool, but interesting, is they had an exhibit which was like the 75 years of F1, and that's what they were celebrating. And so they had like quite a lot of the old, I don't know how well you can see this, but like quite a lot of the old Formula One cars from all different eras, including the like the old Williams FW14, I think it is. I don't actually know what year it is. They had last year, or the year before, was McLaren. They had a Williams there. They had repping my guys Force India. They had one of the Force India cars there as well. But yeah, it was just nice to see like a collection of some of those cars as well. It was very, very cool. Like I said, genuinely, for like 25-30 quid, I'm not complaining. I had a great time.
Good little show.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I spent also like 30 quid as well on the shops and stuff. I easily could have spent more.
Yeah. Budgeting. You got
I've got a wedding to pay for. Otherwise, I would have bought a Militech exhaust.
Spend cat.
I genuinely, like, I saw the Militech stand and I was like, do they do exhausts for my cars? No, they don't. Bastards. They only do exhausts for the GR Yaris, and I don't have a GR, which is annoying. So, boo. Anyway, like I said, highly recommend it. And do you know what else comes highly recommended?
No.
Franco Colapinto.
Yeah.
Segways are back.
Franco
Colapinto has signed a 5-year deal with Alpine. Did you see that? 5 years. 5. That's insane. I can't remember the last time a driver had signed a 5-year deal other than Charles, I think, signed a 5-year deal.
Only thing is getting to or stay in F1, mate.
Hey, game's a game. like whatever. And I heard that allegedly there was a big fee paid to Williams to release him of his Williams contract as well.
Oh,
I heard, allegedly. I genuinely don't know how true that is, but it wouldn't surprise me. But thoughts on the whole situation, because I'll run through very, very quickly exactly what happened with Alpine, because some listeners may not know, some may not be the biggest F1 fans and might not stay up to date with everything. Alpine signed Doohan for next year, and they also kept Gasly for next year. Those are their 2 drivers, right?
Yep.
Then they brought in the F2 runner-up, or P3, I want to say, in Paul Aaron, who, by the way, genuinely fantastic driver. Like, I don't have a bad word to say about Paul Aaron. He seems like a really, really quick driver, right? But then we find out that Doohan's contract is only for 6 races, which is odd.
very odd.
And then we find out that Colapinto has been signed as a reserve driver. So Paul Aaron is also a reserve driver. Like, I don't know how that's all going to work. But anyway, but so then now we're hearing that Doohan only has 6 races to impress or he's gone. Which genuinely, and here's where my opinion will kick in. What the fuck is going on?
Well, this is what I was just checking while you were talking. Did you know that Briatore manages Doohan?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Does he actually?
He manages Jack Doohan. Yeah, that's what I was.
God.
That's what I was checking. I was like, who manages Jack Doohan? It's Flavio
His
Briatore.
manager has potentially bent him over. I'm not going to lie. That's outrageous.
I know.
That's genuinely hit me harder than I expected it to.
I think
so bad.
It's, obviously they're just not sure about Doohan. They know Franco is tested in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he's also got the South American contingent.
Yeah, I think he also comes from a lot of like sponsorship money as well. So I get that side of it too.
Yeah, so I think they're just trying to have all options available to him. But it doesn't look good for Doohan.
It's not looking good. Like, I'll be honest. Like, because
it's not looking good, Brev.
Ocon got a podium last year for Alpine, which is outrageous, right? And they still binned him off.
Yeah.
So I don't know actually what the deal was with Ocon and him leaving and blah 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 blah. Blah. But still, like I think. Genuinely, to you, I'll ask you this question. What does Doohan have to do in order to keep that seat after those first 6 races? Or do you think it's just literally what he's done anyway?
No, I think because Franco's a reserve driver, so they can go to Doohan, good 6 races, we'll extend you till the halfway through.
Yeah, but do you think that's going to happen? So this is what I'm saying. Like, what do you think will happen?
Well, your first question of like what he has to do, he has to beat Ocon. That is his number one thing. He has to beat his teamate because they're in the same car. Sorry. Go.
Yeah. I was like, I would hope he beats Ocon because that would be also like a bit of a like, I've proven I'm better than what you just had.
Whatever. Ocon had left.
No, I was wondering what angle you were going for. So, but Gasly, he has to beat Gasly.
I messed up.
Out of those 6,
Gasly.
How many races does he have to beat Gasly in? Or qualifying / races, how often does he have to
More than half, right? More than half.
That's a tall order.
And he's got to consistently, if the car can do it, he's got to consistently score points. So it can't be like Gasly 8, 9, Doohan 13, 14. It can't be that, right? Because points means prize money. That's what he's got to do. The fact that they've not given him a year contract is not a good sign. It's like when they had Valtteri just like renewed every year. Every year. It's like it just seems like we're waiting for something better to come along, and it could be Franco.
It's not good, and this might sound horrible.
Good, Brev.
But I haven't seen much from Doohan, but I don't know if replacing him with Colapinto will give them what they want.
We'll have to wait and see.
Colapinto, there's definitely there's flashes in there for sure. But I think if somebody said to me, "Oh, Colapinto's a reliable driver. He'd be really good in a midfield team," I'd be like, "Will he? I don't know yet. We've only seen a few races from him, and in half of them, admittedly in a Williams, he crashed. So, it's not like he's come in and been fucking unreal. He's done well. He's done better than Sargent, but he's not done amazingly. So that's why I'm
like, shortage of options, right? Like you said, there's Paul Aaron is there. So I think Alpine are we want our cake and we want to eat it as well. So if you're not good enough, the next person. If you're not good enough, the next person. And it's a Formula One seat. No one's going to say no to it.
No.
Unless your name is Oscar Piastri.
Apparently, yeah. Hilarious. Well done. Nice. I don't see Doohan making it past the 6 races.
I don't see him making it past either.
I think considering how ruthless Alpine management have been, and Flavio is and has been
ruthless.
Horribly ruthless. I don't see him making it past 6. I just don't.
I mean, the guy manages Alonso, right? You've got to be a certain type of character to. Alonso,
true.
Right?
But
Alonso doesn't take shit either.
I feel for Doohan. I really, really do, because if he, I don't know how. I don't want to say he's a pay driver or whatever, but I genuinely don't know what sponsorships are tied to Doohan either. I don't know if he has big money behind him or if he's just super talented or what. I don't know what the situation is, but. I look at Doohan and I go, who else is going to give you the opportunity? Who else is going to give you a seat? Who else is going to put you in their car? And I cannot see any other team on the grid giving him an opportunity right now, or at all. In the next few years, I cannot see anyone giving him an opportunity either. We have how many new rookies coming through, and I think there's a gold rush of talent coming from F2 right now. I think Doohan's done before he's even started, which is outrageous. If it's justified, genuinely, if Doohan comes in and he's dog shit, sure, I get it. But if he does decently enough, if it's 4-2 in terms of race results or whatever, or even 5-1, he's not done terribly for the first 6 races. But I think, to be honest with you, you've got to give him half a season, personally. But
I think yes.
I don't think he's going to see the summer break. I think he'll be done. I think they might even announce it literally at that 6th race. I don't know what race it is. Colapinto's taking over the seat. Within hours of the Grand Prix ending.
I use the term rookie loosely because obviously some of these drivers have raced before, but I think who's coming? Liam Lawson's come in, Antonelli, Isaac Hadjar, Ollie Behrman, Bortoleto.
Run through that list real quick, one, and then let me respond real quick. So you said Liam Lawson, right? Who came in and was beaten by Yuki pretty easily. Well, not pretty easily, but he was beaten by Yuki. Yuki outperformed him when they were together, right? You'd argue.
Yeah, but remember, he came in, he did a good job for...
He did do a good job.
Or Visa Cash at RB, out-qualified Verstappen.
He did a good job, yeah. So, but Yuki still outperformed him, I would argue, right? So comparing the rookie to the other person who's been in the team for a little bit longer, that's what I'm saying.
True, but he joined halfway through the season as well.
True, yeah. But who's the next one?
Antonelli.
Okay, Antonelli binned it and didn't really do a whole lot else. Next,
they obviously see something.
I get it. But there's a culmination to my point. Go
on. Isaac Hadjar.
Isaac Hadjar is unproven. However, his radio messages and his temper tantrums need to tone it down, or he's not going to last at F1. Next,
Ollie Behrman.
Ollie Behrman, I think he's come in and done a pretty good job. I think that there was probably a little bit of British bias around his performances and stuff like that, but I do think he's very good, and I think he has like a big future. But he didn't beat his teammates in any of the races or whatever that he had. This is my point. This is what it's leading to. Who's the next one?
And finally, Bortoleto.
Bortoleto, F2 champion. Hadjar probably should have won that
F3
championship, by the way. Hadjar should have won that championship. Like, genuinely. Looking at those results, Jesus Christ. It was... Anyway, that's a tangent I don't want to go down. But my point being, especially the rookies that have driven, they were beaten by their teammate. And so to ask Doohan to come in immediately and beat Gasly is such a tall order. He's dead before he's even stepped foot in the car. Like, the next season. Like, genuinely, it's such a shitty position because you're asking him to do something which, when was the last time a rookie compared to a seasoned driver in the first 6 races you went, why is Alonso not performing compared to this new rookie? Why is Hamilton not performing compared to this? Like, when was the last time it actually happened? I can't name it.
Probably Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, that's the bar. The bar is Lewis Hamilton in 2007. Any other rookies you can think of that have come in and beaten their teammate and you've gone, oh, you sat up and taken notice?
Nah.
Because not even Max did it in his first season, I don't think. I think him and Carlos were neck and neck for a while.
Pretty neck and neck, yeah.
For a while. Not the entire time, but... Like, I can't name it.
I guess Lewis.
I genuinely can't. And this is my point. If that's what you're going to do, he's done for.
Also comparing apples to oranges with Lewis, that's not testing.
Yeah, but you can see my point, right?
It's Formula One, right? It's ruthless. He's like, I've got a chance to drive. It's 6 or 7 races, whatever it is. You're taking it. End of, right?
Yeah,
most people are going to take it. So it's his fate is in his hands. So
yes and no, we'll see. I was just double checking like what the first 6 races were. So first 6 races are, oh god, the fucking adverts and videos. Shit, man. Australia, China, Japan, Bahrain, Saudi, and then his last race is Miami. Or his last contracted race is Miami. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So by Miami, he's got to have thrown the gauntlet down type thing against Gasly. And Gasly's driven at all of those tracks before, multiple times. I just don't... I'm not saying...
I don't see him beating Gasly.
I don't see...
If he's like close to Gasly, you know, if he's like performing at the same kind of level...
Respectably close.
Yeah.
Then sure. Unless Gasly has like a DNF, you know, type thing and there's nothing he can do about it or whatever it is, you know. But he has to be within a respectable amount of points. We don't want like a Max Verstappen first, Sergio Perez 8th type thing. We don't want that happening. We don't want Gasly like 4th and then he hasn't even scored a point type thing. So
kind of like Verstappen and Perez, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You don't want like that much of a performance gap. You don't want like one driver, aka Gasly, making Q3 all the time and doing out in Q1.
Yeah, you don't want that. But let's wait and see. So your final prediction. I had to ask you now what's going to happen. You're saying Colapinto in race 7?
Yeah, he'll be there before.
That's what I'm thinking as well. Which is a real shame. I think the right thing to do, provided that Doohan doesn't come in and completely fuck up, give him until the mid-season. And if we do have that Sergio Perez level gap, sure, boot him. Fine, I would understand. But 6 races is not enough. I don't think. You know, we'll see, but...
We'll see. 6 races better than 0.
Yeah. So. Well, he's already had 1 technically, but I mean, you know. Anyway, on to the next topic, which is Perez. Thoughts on that whole thing?
Yeah, it was all weird because his dad was talking about journalists and making stuff up and posting pictures with Red Bull, but it was the right decision to make. He wasn't performing at the end of the day. No. It'll be interesting to see what Liam does. That's a whole tangent we could go on, but it was the right decision to make. He wasn't performing, and it's interesting that Red Bull looked at it as like, we'd rather give up all that sponsorship money for someone who can probably get us back up in the championship standings.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they like the fact that they were kind of out of the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah. And what does Liam have to do to do well at Red Bull? What do you think he has to do?
He just has to finish. If the car is quick and he's got to beat all of Verstappen's rivals. That's what he has to do, right? So P1, lots of like P1s, P2s, P3s, like 1-2, sorry, and he's got to be there when Verstappen isn't. So if Verstappen has a grid penalty, Verstappen, car breaks down, he crashes out, he's got to pick up the slack, and that's what Sergio didn't do. He never got into Q3 enough times, and when Max was like literally having to fight Ferraris, Red Bulls, Mercedes by himself, Sergio was not there. So they can't even do strategy. It's okay. Yeah. We can leave Sergio out. We can do this. We can do that. He's got to make a Red Bull's life as easy as possible. That's what he's got to do.
I think you're right. I think genuinely, all Liam has to do the whole season, this is the one thing he has to do. He has to, with any of his performances across the 24 races, he has to not create or have such a bad performance it becomes a headline. That's all he has to do.
Yep.
I don't think, if Max, let's say, bear with me, I don't think it will happen this year. I thought it was going to happen last year. If Max wins 15 of the races, let's say, it's an outrageous number, but sure, we'll say Max wins 15 races, right? I don't even think he has to be on the podium every time he wins those. I don't even think he has to get a win that season. I just think he has to just be, within P8 to P4.
Nah.
That's what he has to do. That's all I'm saying he has to do. And I think he'll keep that seat.
No way. If he's not regularly getting podiums with that car.
But I don't think that car next year is going to get podiums. That's my point.
No, but my point is, like you said, if Max is winning 15 races, then Liam has to be regularly getting podiums.
I think if he's getting podiums every now and again, sure. Then, but like I think on average, if you like over the 24 races, if his average finishing position is 5th, they'll go cool.
No. Your question was, what does he need to do if Max wins 15 races, right? No. So my thing was like, what does he have to do just to keep the seat? Like, just in general, just keep the seat. Not if Max is winning 15 races, Liam, you've got to win at least 1 or 2. Like at that point. Yeah. Like, say Max is winning 15 races. Max is having a 2023 season.
Yeah.
What does Liam Lawson have to do if that car is way quicker than everybody else?
For every way quicker than everyone else, he has to be finishing P2. But that wasn't my point. Right. My point generally was just like, because I don't think that Red Bull is going to be at the front as much as it was last year. I just don't. That's just what I think. I think they've lost quite a lot of different personnel from the team. I think they're going to take a step back, especially to focus on the 26 Cup. That's just my opinion. All right.
Yeah.
So I see Red Bull finishing 3rd or 4th in the Constructors next year. That's just also not tactically as well, but also to give them the best possible start for the 26 season, right? So they won't focus as much on the development for 25, but I don't see Verstappen winning as many races as he did last year or the year before, obviously. But I think that, like I said, all Liam has to do is just have respectable performances. He can drop a clanger every now and again, or he can get in an incident like most Rickies do. But he can't be making big headlines like Sergio Perez did more often than not last year. That's what I think he has to do. Taking everything into account, going into the real world. If Liam has respectable performances and he's not exiting in Q1, he's not like Max is finishing 1st and he's finishing like P9 or 10 or even lower. But if Max is finishing 3rd, 4th, 5th, let's say the first 6 races, Max finishes like on average, like first 6 races, Max gets 2 podiums. Let's say he doesn't get a race win, he gets 2 podiums. If Liam Lawson picks up like a 5th, a 9th, a 4th, a 7th, like that sort of thing, sure, that's fine. But I think he's doing good. I think that's fine. I don't think you could ask that much more of him.
I think if you were to, just generalizing it, he's like I said, he can't give Red Bull a headache. He can't be like, oh,
He can't
God,
give them a
we can't do
headache.
this again.
That would not be good.
Right.
Unless one of the other things I wanted to talk about actually comes true. He can't give Red Bull a headache. He's not going to outperform Max, so he needs to get that out of his head immediately. It's just not going to happen, right? It just won't happen. Sorry. It might happen once in a blue moon, and you take that confidence where you can get it. But it's not going to happen. And he just needs to just do his best. Just do your best. Don't aim to be the better version of yourself every time you get in that car, rather than Max is 2 grid positions ahead of me. I've got to get past him. Do you see my point?
I see it, but
because he's not going to beat Max. Like, if you set yourself that like target, it's just never going to work. But if you set yourself the target of, I don't want to do a Sergio Perez, I think you'll be fine. I know that's not how F1 drivers' brains are wired. Every single one of them steps into their car going, yeah, I'm the fucking best in the world at driving. But I want a little bit of realism with this. He's not going to beat him. He just isn't. Turn up every day, work hard, put your performances in, don't drop a clanger, and you'll be fine.
Well, we'll find out. That's it. We'll find out.
We'll find out the start of it in 55 days.
In 55 days. One Carlos Sainz.
One Carlos Sainz away. Using Carlos Sainz as a measurement of time. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe Liam Lawson does need to step up and be that number 1 driver if Max leaves for Aston Martin.
Yeah, and $1 billion deal.
Fucking
gosh.
So funny.
You can just make anything up nowadays.
So, do you want to explain what that is?
Yes. There are rumors that Aston Martin would like Max Verstappen to come in and join the team. And the reported contract value was around $1 billion. Right?
Billy with a B, with a big
billion
B.
With a B. Now, what got everything, the rumor mill smoking and fired up, was Aston Martin denied that we'd made the offer. But Red Bull, this is where like this fucking stupid Twitter world that we live in. Max Verstappen's team didn't categorically deny it. And because they didn't categorically deny it, people are like, oh my God, is he going to join? What's going to happen? You know, things like that. So that just, you can clearly tell, like, it's a slow news day, right?
Yeah, the off season hasn't been as hot as last year's.
No, you can clearly tell. It's like, there's even things about like Lewis Hamilton's girlfriend, because people have been stalking Instagram.
Yeah, apparently he's dating Sophia something. I can't remember her last name.
But they're like, the same hoodie and the same suitcase. And I'm like, it really is a slow news day for you guys. So, yeah, I mean, there's obviously no smoke without fire. I'm guessing Aston Martin probably did go to Max's team and inquired about his availability in 26, or when his Red Bull contract expires.
Yeah, in 20.
And I'm probably looking at him as a replacement for Alonso, especially if the 26 car, the 25 car is not that good, and he doesn't seem like, I don't think the 26 car will be good as well. And I'd rather go to where Newey is, where he'll be designing the 26 car for Aston.
If that car's good, anyway.
If that car's good. I'd go to kind of like, in a way, better the devil I know, because I know Newey and I know the cars he designs. So I think that's kind of like a little bit more of a real thing. I could see Max going to Aston Martin to replace Alonso.
You can. Okay.
I can see that.
So my 2 cents.
Dun, dun,
I
dun.
think the offer was I think the offer's real, or some sort of offer. Not maybe not the numbers, but I think, because Aston Martin are going places. They are. They've got Newey. They've shaken up their technical team. They and I think there's a couple of reasons for their downfall the last couple of years, and like year or so or whatever, year and a half. They were hit by a couple of different things, and I think genuinely something has to be said about Fernando Alonso whenever he comes to a team and the car development that they have. For some reason, it never works out. Don't know why that is, but there we go. But that's a whole separate argument. But I can genuinely, this is my headspace, right? I can absolutely see Aston Martin turning around or speaking to Verstappen's team and going, "Hello, hi, your Red Bull contract's up at the end of 2028. We would like to just, here's a deal if you're interested for 26 onwards, or here's a deal from 28 onwards if you're considering it. Like, this is what we have. If you can mull it over, but we want to express our interest." And I think that's perfectly acceptable. That's perfectly fine. If I'm Komatsu, I'm fucking going to Max Verstappen and going, do you want a seat? Like most team principals on the grid will be asking Max, what are you doing in 29? Do you want a seat with us? Like most will be thinking about like their next drivers and the people they want in the car and stuff like that. So I think there probably was some sort of conversation or meeting or offer where it might have been wishy-washy, but I think something must have happened. Now, my second point is, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I genuinely think Max will come into 25, and if it's not so great, it'll be in the back of his mind, retirement. And I think he'll get, because he'll want to go and do other shit. He's just about to become a dad as well. He's already sort of a dad, but not biologically, and there's a whole argument there. But like an actual dad to your very own child, I think if Red Bull are in the bin for 26, I can see him retiring at the end of 26 from F1.
I think he wants to do a Lewis Hamilton, where
okay,
I think one of the reasons Lewis left Mercedes was obviously he didn't get the ambassador role. But also I think Ferrari, what's his name, John Elkann, pledged a lot of money to foundations and things that Lewis supports.
Yeah.
So I think if he joins Aston Martin, he'll be like, look, I want an ambassador role for like the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want one with Aston Martin?
I think he so smooth. What a brand, by the way. What a brand.
I also think that because obviously he wants to set up his racing team about getting virtual drivers into like, and I think he'll say to Aston Martin, I want a big investment from you for me to do that. And it doesn't matter how much money you put on the table. Well, that's what I want from you.
The deal even alleged giving him a stake in the team. That's part of
which one, Lewis or Max?
The Max thing.
Okay.
Apparently, some stake in the team was offered to him as part of the deal.
Okay,
don't know how true that is, but
so I think he would want stuff like that because he's got money. He's sorted for money.
He's got people any more money.
He's got people around him that'll make sure that he's sorted for life and his family's sorted for life. He'd want because obviously his passion is like the sim racing and stuff like that. I think that's what he'll really want to do post retirement. And if he sees I can do more with Aston Martin because they are a car brand, right? They have got racing in GT3,
so many different series.
Just so different series. It says I can see more options with Aston Martin to do this for myself rather than with Red Bull, which is essentially a marketing company or an energy drinks company.
I've just had a thought.
Okay. Did it hurt?
Very much so. What if? So you know how Max wants to go and do other series, right? He wants to go and do other things. He wants to race in touring cars, or he wants to do whatever it is he wants to do, right? Do you think part of the deal, and this is a genuine thought that I've just had, it could be the stupidest idea, but do you think part of that proposed alleged deal could be, right, you join Aston Martin, I don't know if you knew this, Max, but we actually have, and we're in loads of different other racing series. We've heard you want to enter Le Mans. We could enter Le Mans. Would you like a seat? It's a weekend off, well, not a weekend off, but would you like a seat? Because he could race for Aston Martin F1 proper and then disappear because it's on a different weekend now, Le Mans from F1. He could disappear and he could go and enter Le Mans for the weekend.
Alonso had it, didn't he?
Exactly. Alonso had it. What was the other? Because that's one of the other things. So Bernie, who used to own F1, made a point of making sure that there was a race on the same weekend as Le Mans, which is insane to do, by the way, because it splits some viewership anyway. But if possible, I think he could do it without even taking a break from from an actual Grand Prix weekend.
Maybe, but I think that's more like a small thing that wouldn't like.
Yeah. But
but
do you think that sort of thing could happen? Could even tempt him to do that? Because I don't think Red Bull are ever going to do that. But
I don't think it would tempt him. No, I don't think it would, because he's super young. He could just do it when he retires. But I think because they've also signed the Honda partnership. Honda, he's like, I've got Aston Martin's access and Honda's access.
Honda, yeah.
Right. So I think that's what he's looking at in terms of like growing his brand like close to when he leaves Red Bull.
Yeah.
Whether he retires or not. So that's what I think. I think there is something there. People just made it up. But I think if I'm Max Verstappen and Aston Martin came to me with that deal and like doing what he's doing, I would say, I you know what? I'm interested.
Well, I think you might be right, but I think it's 50-50 as to whether, because I don't see Max staying at Red Bull the entirety of his career, like as in like I don't see him extending after 28 type thing at Red Bull. I think he will either go to another team or he will just that's it. He retires like at 2028, whatever, and just disappears off and be like and just is a father to his kid or kids or whatever. Because there's also apparently a rumor that it's twins, which is interesting. But like I think he'll just disappear into the sunset and go and do other series. He'll do Le Mans style endurance, he'll do touring, he'll do rally, he'll do whatever he fancies, because at that point you've got enough money and you can.
I think he'll go to one more team after Red Bull.
You think he'll go to one more team? I think it's 50-50. Genuinely 50-50.
I think it'll be in 26.
They could make that Aston Martin deal so outrageous he couldn't say no. But like if you think about it like that, like Aston Martin are in, like they have a wide range of cars. They could very easily support him doing other series. With that Honda partnership as well, Honda make a shit ton of cars as well. They could support him doing any other series as well.
Yeah.
And I think when you have that much talent, the door in F1 is always open.
Also, if the Honda and Nissan that might merge, was it Honda Toyota?
So I think there's a partnership between Honda, Nissan, and Toyota to go into EV technology.
Okay, but I'm just thinking, if that happens, if it's whether it's Nissan or Toyota, he's got access to them as well.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So
like, because you're racing.
I'll ask this question: is there a closed door in motorsport to Max Verstappen right now?
In terms of if his contract let him do everything, yeah, I think he's obviously got stipulations with Red Bull.
Yeah, there'll be, but like
he could go to any racing series for any team.
If he woke up tomorrow morning and decided I want to race for Haas in 27, he could probably find a way. Like I don't think there is a single closed door for him anywhere in motorsport, anywhere, and that's the power he has. And it's going to be very interesting to see what he decides to do. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, and also, I as a closing thought as well. Obviously, when Max was first starting at Red Bull, who were one of the main partners of Red Bull?
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin. So there's already also a pre-existing relationship potentially there as well.
And he's won his championships with Honda.
Yeah, exactly. One championship with Honda.
So he's brought them success.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
And I think for Alonso, he goes, if you're going to replace me with anyone, I'll be happy that it's Max Verstappen.
Oh, 100%. Because like I said, like if they turn around and they went, boys, let's get the band back together. Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen, and somebody else. In an Aston Martin, Seb, yeah. And Seb, yeah.
Seb was at Aston.
In an Aston Martin for Le Mans.
Yeah.
Boy, would I watch that. Boy, would I try and get tickets for that. That'd be outrageous. You know what I mean? Like, there's a genuine, like...
I think to summarize, we've not heard the last of this.
No, we haven't. There's no smoke without fire. And I genuinely think there's a basis to the rumors, to everything that's happened, and I can see it happening.
It's going
to be interesting to see, for sure. Do we have anything else to chat about? We've been recording now for over an hour. We could end it here. I'm more than happy to. Not that I don't want to talk to you anymore, but like, do we have anything else to run through?
No, I think we've covered a good amount. We've covered a good amount of stuff.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. I'll spend just a minute or so just explaining that we will still be doing our end of season review, and we will still be doing our awards show as well. We still need to do that as well. It has been planned. It just needs to be recorded at this point, honestly. But life gets in the way. It will be coming. I'll be honest. This has been a long one. I'm probably going to split this into 2 episodes, if I'm honest. I'll split it after the Autosport talk and just chuck it into 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
we're at the start. We're like, I wonder what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and then we found, and we could very easily carry on chatting, and we found bits and pieces to chat about. But yeah, I think that's about it. If you have made it this far, or if this is the split into 2 second part episodes, be sure to follow the podcast on your preferred podcast platforms. Come and say hello on Instagram. Come and have a bit of a waffle. Threads, come and check us out on Threads and TikTok if you still have access. But it's apologies. It's been a while, but we needed time to recharge, as did a lot of people apparently.
Even Terry was quiet for a while.
Terry was a little bit quiet as well. And
I give an F1 as well.
They've been a little bit. I don't know when they last released an episode either, but like most people have been a bit quiet. I think that's good. It's good for the soul. That's what I'm going to go with. It is the soul, but it is starting to ramp up. Like Terry's doing his usual post. Karina's posting again. Yeah. I'll tell you what. We'll search for Undercut Society as their new name. Remember?
Oh yes.
So when was the last time they posted? I've just written undercut. So I was hoping. Oh, there it is. I was hoping that if I just put under, it would pop up, but then I tried undercut and it still didn't pop up. But they last posted on, drum roll please, December 10th. So they've taken a longer break than we have. So yeah, everyone's taken some time, and I think that's great. Genuinely, I think it's really, really cool.
No, it's good. It's good. Sometimes you just need to be out of the
yeah,
that's it.
We are going to be back. Like I said, we're gonna be back doing more bits and pieces on the pod in the future few weeks as we ramp up again for the season. Because I don't know if I've said this to you. This is going to be our year. This year is going to be our year. I'm calling it.
Every year is our year.
There's a lot of shit happening. Do you know what? As well, I'm going to give anyone who's still fucking listening, but also you, Ash, something to look forward to. The plan is to actually record a live podcast together this year. Do you remember we said we were doing that?
We've been doing this for so long. We've never actually recorded an
episode in the same room. So we've got that to look forward to as well.
And that's close.
It's not that far away.
It's not that far away.
Even you can only buy train tickets so far in advance for where I live, and I put a reminder in. I can now buy train tickets for the available dates that I need them. So we're getting close. I still need a hotel for one place, but we're getting close. We're almost there. So exciting, very, very exciting. So we have, I at least personally have a lot of things to look forward to this year.
You do. You have a lot.
Some related to the podcast, some not. But I'm hoping that this is going to be our year. Podcast.
I think it is.
Not that we don't appreciate our fans that we currently have already, but I'm hoping that we snowball a little bit this year and we can pick up a little bit of steam. That I'm putting it out there. Positive affirmations and all that shit. I'm putting it out there. That's what's going to happen. We welcome all fans, young and old, even Haas fans. We welcome you all, and we will see you again at some point during 2025. But if we don't see you until lights out, we will see you in a Carlos Sainz.
We will see you in a Carlos Sainz.
Such a stupid outro.